Hello, everyone. Let me know if you see me. Let's see here. All right, let's see if I popped on in. Hello. Let me just see. I think I see myself. Drop a hello. I see 4 eyeballs, and someone gave me a thumbs up. Let me just see if I could see the comments. Drop a hello if you're joining me. Tell me who you are, whether it's here or on YouTube. I see Tina dropped in, Wanda dropped in, Sherry just said hi. Perfect. Okay. And Melissa, oh, hi, Melissa, good to see you. All right. So if you're just popping in, hi, Jennifer, with a big heart. She's always so wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, if you are popping in here, you are joining me, I don't know where. I believe this is actually Italy, from what I think a friend showed me before. I'm just choosing backgrounds that I really like. So if it's Italy, those of you who know, you can confirm this for me. So I am coming to you from Italy. No, not really. So this is live number 119, at why nothing works anymore for your weight loss / fat loss. So the reason why I titled that is why nothing works for your weight loss / fat loss is because it's not always about weight. I know it's not always about weight. Often it's actually more about the fat percentage in your body. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Stephanie. Good to see you. And Deanne. Awesome. So if you guys are new here, welcome to the Fierce Woman community where we sculpt powerful bodies and champion mindsets. If you are tuning in from YouTube later on, our Fierce Woman community is now, I believe, almost 15,000 women. So if you want to learn more, you want to join into our free challenges, which there is a free challenge next week, which I will talk about in a second here. Please join our Facebook group, and you can find us on Facebook. Obviously, you do have to be accepted into a group. When we don't accept everyone, we sometimes check out your profile. We decide whether it's an appropriate fit or not. But yes, you hopefully you can join in to the Fierce Woman community. So last week, awesome. Thanks, Katrina, for popping in. She's one of our VAs. If one of you guys can tag the community, that would be awesome. I noticed that when we tag the community, more people can find us. So like tag all, and people can more easily find us. So yes, last week I did a Q&A, and it was our first ever Q&A question and answer, and that was very popular. I was kind of surprised by it. So I am planning to do that more often, and I will bring that back regularly along with these other lives that I do that has a little bit more concrete information on one topic. So I think there's nice things about Q&A because you can address so many topics all at once. And then there's kind of a place for more concrete information on one stream of data. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Yes, thank you, Katrina, for tagging everyone. And I see Jeanette dropped in, and Debbie dropped in, and Rhonda. Awesome. So how many of you on here feel like you are exactly that person that feels like you've done everything and it's just not working? If that is you, I want you to put me or a show of hands of how many of you feel like you're at a plateau. So put plateau or me below if you feel like you've tried everything and it doesn't work. Now, the reason why I actually came up with this topic is because I'm always inspired by what I see in the messages or with my own clients. And I recently, just this past week, saw about 3 or 4 comments from women in this community who said, I've done everything, I've tried everything, and nothing works. And so if that's you, put me, oh, Wanda has her hands up. Yeah, exactly. Or plateau, put it below. So I wanted to know a show of hands if we are, if this topic is actually something that is really like resonating with a lot of you, right? So Hi, Oshone and Suzanne also popped in. Awesome. Now I'm going to do a really quick win, not a long one. I'm going to do it more at the end of my live, just going to change it up a little bit. But I did want to just do a really quick one, and we're going to dive straight into the topic. I just want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to all the 21-day anti-inflammation ladies. They finished their course on Sunday, and they did so well. I know that like on average, they dropped between 5 to 10 pounds in the 3 weeks. And I think it was between like 9 to 10 inches off the body. I did want to give a shout out to Carolyn Bowden, who actually posted this in our 21-day anti-inflammation group. She dropped 10.5 inches off her belly in 3 weeks. Carolyn, give her lots of hearts. Amazing, amazing. And this is going to relate a lot to what I'm going to talk about inflammation. She dropped 10.5 inches off her belly, 5.5 right in the middle of her belly, which is amazing in 3 weeks. You know, this is what I talk a lot about inflammation in the system. And a lot of the ladies dropped a size down as well. So Robin Romano, Sherry Shaw, and Carolyn Bowden has shared that they all dropped a pant size down in 3 weeks, which is amazing. And Wanda Mercury, I know you're on here. She has already registered for the next 21-day anti-inflammation program. So I'm excited for you, Wanda. You are like ahead of the game. So for those of you who are just hearing about this 21-day anti-inflammation system, we are in the process of uptaking, and we are starting August 7th. So that's about 2-3 weeks away. So if you want to learn more about this 21-day anti-inflammation system, drop 21 below, and we will send you the information link that describes what's in the course, what do you get, how do we work with you, all of that. So that's the 21-day anti-inflammation system. Drop 21 if you want more information. Yeah, huge congratulations. Yes, exactly. Oshoni, Jennifer, these ladies did so well. We're so proud of them. All right, so let's dive actually into why nothing works anymore for your weight loss / fat loss. Okay, so there are many reasons. I am going to dive into 6 reasons for you, and we are going to try something a little bit new. I'm going to use at certain points some photos to describe to you what's happening, and yeah, see how that goes. Okay, so the first reason is improper calorie intake. You have an improper calorie intake that is causing your stall out. Typically, you could say either it's too much or too little. But for most women that I coach, it is too little. So I know Shoni coaches as well. And so typically what is happening for most women is they are actually eating too little. And what happens when you eat too little is you actually, initially, you may lose weight. And some of you may have tried this, going lower in calories, all of that. Initially, you may lose weight. But what happens is there's a phenomenon called adaptive thermogenesis. So your metabolism will adjust to the lower calories you give it, and it starts to slow down your metabolism. So if you are a person who tends to cut meals, you tend to not be hungry, you skip meals, you want to lose weight, you're going lower in calories, but nothing is happening and you're plateauing, you're probably causing more damage to your metabolism and forcing it to slow down through the mechanism called adaptive thermogenesis. Okay. And this happens a lot, whether you do it intentionally or not. I think that a lot of women in the back of their mind think that if they eat less, they're going to lose weight. But it actually is not quite true. You know, I mean, obviously, if you overeat at 2,000 plus calories and you cut back, you'll probably lose weight. But how come there's so many women that come to us that eat like 800, 900, 1,000 calories, and they still have a massive belly? They still struggle with so much weight. So obviously it isn't just about lower calories. And I wanted to show a picture, and I did tell her, I didn't warn everybody I was going to show pictures, but only the ones I know for sure I have the permission to do it, of Debbie Bowman. So Debbie has been in our community for a long time, and she used to eat at 800 calories, and she dieted her whole life, constantly dieting, and her body stopped responding at a certain point. It just was like, no more, not dropping weight. No matter what she did, she just couldn't. She could drop like 1 to 2 pounds, but then it wouldn't move. So she kept stalling and stalling. And I believe, Debbie, you came to me when you're 63, 62, and she just was so frustrated. And I want to show you this picture because it's just such a testament about what calorie ranges do. Actually, let me just try my best to, we're going to try this new thing here. I think it should work. Give me a second here and I'll just pull it up. Yeah, okay, we'll try this. So let's pull this up. Let me know if you guys see this picture that I just pulled up. So yeah, I think it just popped up. Yes. So this is a picture of Debbie Bowman. Now, when she came to me on the left side, she was eating at 800 calories. And 800, 900, she was so scared to eat any more calories. And I said to her, I was like, you can't eat at 800, 900 calories. You're destroying your metabolism. Although that word, just want you guys to know, you can heal your metabolism. She was so scared. She was eating so little. And through our time of working together, she's obviously gone through her transformation program and then her muscle accelerator program. But between the left side to the right side, the difference in calories, you guys are ready for this? I think I spoke about this before. She went from 800 calories to 1400 calories. And look at the change in her body. And so I gave her more calories to eat and increased her caloric intake. And her body actually started to listen, started to drop weight and drop fat and drop bloating and all of that. And that's how a lot of women can't compute in their head of how eating more calories can help you lose more weight. But this is the truth. And I'm going to share in her other photo. I think I just need to, let me just pull up the other one. Okay, I might be able to share this other one here. So you can see it from the side. Try to do it more efficiently. I'm trying to pull up the bigger screen here. So this is her from the side. So you should be able to see this. So you should be able to see that belly and all of that she's had, again, was at 800 calories on the left side to her right side of actually like going more calories. Like, again, we went up slowly, incrementally to 1400. We increased it slowly, but like just the change in her belly and the drop in that is tremendous. And if I go to her back as well, her back is really good. I go over here. And share again. So you can see the fat dropping off of her back. So you guys can see her back. You see all those rolls in her back now gone. It's crazy. It's amazing. And so she's actually eating way more calories now than she ever has. And she has a much leaner body. And so one of the things I always say to people is like one of the first things is your calorie may be wrong. Like I said, if you're overeating, obviously, if you cut back on calories, you are going to see changes. But for most women, I actually believe that they eat too little, which forces their system to kind of adapt their metabolism, and it slows it down, and it won't let you lose any more weight because your body is a survival mechanism. And so This is just a case in point for all of you. So I'm going to stop share, and I see lots of excellent and wow, Jennifer. Yeah, you see it. Awesome. Let's just go back to, right. So if you believe, so this is just my first thing, and now there's more coming, but if you believe that you're actually eating too little, or you skip meals, or you skip breakfast, or you just drink a couple of shakes and you just think that's going to help you lose weight, I want you to put better calorie range or calorie below, indicating you know you need to do something about that. Because I think that is actually a lot of women's issue, is that you actually don't eat nearly enough of what you actually need. Is the calorie range is actually off. Okay, so put calorie below if you feel like, wait a second, I'm eating extremely low and I need to be like more on top of it. Okay. Hi, Love Girl. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Neri. And that's just an example to show you that a lot of women tend to undereat, in my experience of coaching. Okay. Yeah, you can't eat grass. Exactly. And you understand that. So here's the next point is, yeah, Tina, calorie. Yeah, I see that. So the next point is improper macro distribution for what your body needs. Okay. So macros, if you're still new to it, a lot of the women in this group do understand it, is protein, carbs, and fat. So when I say you have improper macro distribution, it means that you don't have the right ranges for protein, amount of protein in your body, the amount of carbs in your body, and the amount of fats in your body. Okay. So why do I bring this up? Is that, yeah, eating less is a huge misconception, Oshone says, 100%. I see Tracy commented calorie low. Yeah. And yeah, Carrie says calorie low. Yeah, a lot of women, I mean, in my experience, that is most women's tendency. They starve themselves, they skip meals, not realizing how detrimental that is to your metabolism, right? Now, on the topic of macro distribution, this is really important because your amount of protein, your amount of carbs, and the amount of fat in your body sends different signals to your body. And how much carbs you have in your system, how much fat and protein changes signaling in your body, which actually affects hormone. But I'm not going to get into hormones yet because that's another huge point coming soon. But your amount of macros in your body not only affects hormones, but it also affects your body building composition, meaning the ability for your body to build muscle and decrease fat in your body. If you don't have the proper distribution of macros, then you're going to throw all of these things off. Okay. Now, I see Asil joined in. Yes, Asil, you requested. You're one of the first to request on my teaser yesterday. I noticed, Asil. Good to have you here. And Cindy, I hope you caught the first one, because Cindy was in my FFF program and she used to eat super, super low in her calories, and that was something we really worked on as well. So I'm going to give you an example. Like I said, I'm using slightly different format here. I'm going to show more examples so you understand what I'm saying. So for those of you who have not seen the live interview I did with Rosalinda, Miss Amazing Rosalinda, who competed at 57 and was looking in her best shape of her life. And then over the years and obviously COVID, she gained a lot of weight. And she knew about like healthy eating, and she even understood a little bit about macros because she is and was a competitor, but she could not understand why she was continually gaining weight. She was gaining a lot of belly fat, and obviously by the time she came to me, I believe Rosalinda was 62 or 63 as well, around that range. And for me, it was like, okay, what's going on? Because she says she eats generally healthy. She's vegan. She's like, I'm really healthy. I'm vegan. I eat plant-based. What's going on? Then when someone tells me they eat really healthy, but they continually gain weight, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with their food. Okay. I'm just being honest from the standpoint of being a coach. Okay. So what we realized, okay, I'm gonna bring up her picture and you will see that like the difference in the change of actually addressing her macros. I'm gonna pull up the photo here. Let me just pull up the next photo. Okay, So I'll just share here. All right, so here's the next photo I'm going to bring up here. So it should pop up in a second. Yes. Okay, perfect. So this was Rosalinda on the left side who came to me, a number of months ago, sorry. And the difference between her left side to the right side is huge. You can see the amount of belly and inflammation she was carrying and the amount that we brought her belly down to. So one of the biggest things that we really, really addressed, sorry, I'm just moving this over here, is her fat macro distribution. Now, Rosalinda, was vegan. She was eating maybe healthier quality foods, partially, although there were things I had to address with her. But the thing is, her fat distribution was extremely, extremely high when she came to me. And when I was actually analyzing her macros, she was actually, I believe, almost up to 50-something% in her fat macros. Now, this is a huge amount. And she loves her cashews, she loves her nuts. But I want to give you an idea what this looks like. If she was eating 10 grams of fat more than she needs in a day, so there's like there's 9 calories per gram of fat. So she's had 90 calories more that she's having per day. You times this by 7 days, and that is like, don't quote me on math, but it's over 500 something calories, okay, in a week. You times that by 4 weeks, right? So if you have 500 calories in a week, that would be 2,000 calories in a month, right? And you would have, in a month or two, she would be gaining weight. She would be gaining a pound because 1 pound has 3,600 calories, right? So if you think about, she goes 500 calories more per week from her fat macros, how fast her weight will gain. And over 6 months, she would easily gain, 10 to 15 pounds. And that's what was happening. She was gaining weight very, very rapidly because she was not addressing the amount of fat macros that was in her body. And that was one of the biggest things I worked with her, because even through the weeks, we were really dialing her macros. And it was like the amount that she had easily going over was contributing to a huge amount of fat gain. And not to mention that the amount of fat that she was inputting into her system actually imbalances her hormones tremendously, because too much fat macros causes an imbalance of the hormones and more estrogen and all those things that starts to happen in her system. So let me just show you again. I wish I could show it to you like where it's like scrolling, but apparently I didn't figure that part out. So, yeah, so I'm gonna stop share and reshare. Let me show you here. So again, you can see as I pop this up here, you should be able to see this next one. Just how much that belly came down from really adjusting a lot of her macros and dialing it in, when overall she says she was eating really healthy. And so you can see that your macros and then what you do, even though you may generally eat healthy, if your macros are off, it can really significantly impact your body. And at an older age, your hormones being a little bit off can really throw the cycle off, right? So I just want to make sure you guys can see all of that. I see Sabine dropped in, and Priscilla and Louisa. So if you feel like you don't have good macros right now, and you believe that that is contributing to your belly fat and your plateau, I want you to put macros. Yeah, she looks 10 years younger. Oh my gosh. And obviously, once we got her onto the right macros, she could get back onto her like really good training, because she was a competitor. And now I think she's looking even better and better. And I think more muscle is developing as well. So if you feel like you don't have the right macros, or you're going by cookie cutter macros, I want you to put macros below. What I will say is textbook macros are textbook. and they are not really accurate. So I'm going to give you an example, another example or story here. My sister has approached me, and there's, I don't want to say too much, but there's certain things happening in her body. Okay. And she told me, she said, like, I need you to help me because this is what's happening. And she's like, can you just give me general principles? I like, just give me general principles. I'm like, what did I say to my own sister? I said, if I give you general principles will produce general results. If you want me to help you specifically and you really want to understand your situation, then you need to track for me so I can see what's going on in order to give you specific results. And she's a doctor. And she's like, do I have to be specific? I'm like, yes. I said it to my own sister. You have to be specific if you want me to give you specific recommendations. So I'm not going to gloss over general principles and say, like, yeah, just generally eat whole foods and lots of vegetables and you'll be healthy. Apparently, my sister has been doing that for a long time, and there's major things happening in her system that we need to address right now. And so even to my own sister, I said, no, like, you don't get the free hand because I'm your sister. You need to track specifically for me to let me, so I know what's going on in your system, right? So if you believe that your macros are off, or you don't even do macros and you have a plateau right now and your belly fat is not shifting, or it look like Rosalinda on the left side, then I want you to comment macros below, because that is often a huge factor that people are missing in their system. Okay. Yeah, I see macros, Sherry. And Sherry, we talked a little bit about those macros, and I know that you are, trying to aim for that FFF program in November. Hi, Elaine, good to see you. Tracking is a real eye opener. Yes, tracking, like Jennifer says here, it changes everything, because people always tell me they eat healthy, but the truth is you're not that healthy. If you were, you wouldn't have a plateau, or would you have the belly fat that you do, right? So we just have to be a little bit honest with ourselves, okay? So put macros below if you believe you need to work on macros more. The third thing we're going to talk about is changing hormones, okay? So the whole topic is about, why are you at a plateau, or why is it so hard to lose weight? And yes, almost everything comes back to actually hormones, because hormones is like the entire control center of your body, right? And as women age, and as we go through different stages, we always have hormonal changes, whether it's through, our menstrual cycle, pregnancy, or menopause. Most women here experiencing menopause, right? And what do hormones do? So hormones regulate metabolism, appetite regulation, and fat storage. Okay. So if hormones affect your metabolism, your appetite regulation, and fat storage, if your hormones start to go off, you can see how this can quickly derail you, because it'll derail your metabolism, it'll derail your appetite regulation, and it'll derail the way your fat stores. Okay. So we're going to talk about this, I think in 5 points, 5 areas I'm going to address. Sorry, I see lots of things coming in here. 2,500, Sherry. Not sure what you mean there. And as Asil said, I've been tracking for years and watching my macros, but recently I started gaining weight. Yeah. So same, my sister is very, very conscious of her food. She is like a health junkie, but certain things are happening. So this is why I said we need to be more specific about what we're looking at, right? Now, let's talk about hormones in 5 things. So when your hormones start to change, it creates, number 1, a metabolic change in your body. So in menopause, estrogen is a big thing, where estrogen starts to decline. And when estrogen starts to decline, this leads to actually a slowdown in your metabolic rate. Okay, so estrogen declining actually slows your metabolism down. So that's one of the reasons that you may be gaining weight faster, or what used to work may not work anymore. Number 2, hormones affect insulin resistance. Okay, insulin resistance is when your body does not respond to the insulin hormone anymore. And that means that your cells cannot uptake sugar as regularly, and means that sugar may tend to sit more in the bloodstream, or just has interference. There's more complexities to it. So insulin resistance interferes with blood sugar regulation. So this can lead to increased fat storage, particularly around your abdominal area. So as you age, insulin resistance actually becomes an increasing possibility. Some of you don't even realize you guys are struggling with insulin resistance, okay? Insulin resistance does not mean you're type 2 diabetic, but it may mean that you are on the road to type 2 diabetes. Insulin resistance just means your body has trouble with the hormone insulin. And a lot of people who are aging, who don't understand their nutrition, actually are facing this particular possibility, okay? Hi, Caroline, good to see you. Number 3, hormones can also affect appetite and food cravings. Hi, Bobby, I see you popped in as well. So hormones like ghrelin and leptin is in charge of whether you're hungry or you're full. Ghrelin is the hormone that affects how hungry you are, and leptin is the hormone that affects how you feel full. Now, here's the thing is when your hormones get disrupted, when your estrogen starts to fluctuate, okay, when estrogen starts to fluctuate, you are going to see increase in hunger cravings for calorie dense food and difficulty controlling your food intake. So if you start having more, like cravings, or you feel like you don't have control of food, or you're hungry all the time, this may tell you that your hormone is a little bit off and your ghrelin and leptin is off. And this may be impacted by, again, estrogen levels changing. It's kind of why when you have your menstrual cycle or when you are pregnant, you have different kind of food cravings. So those of you who are menopause, you may experience these similar but different kind of changes in cravings and things like that, that is caused by hormonal changes. Hi, Laura, good to see you. And Melanie and Richie all just popped in. Make sure you guys drop a hello below so we can record you, because when you pop in, I can see it, but it doesn't actually stay on record here. So we don't know who has actually, jumped in here. So hormones affect appetite and food cravings, okay? Number 4 is fat storage and distribution. So your hormones also affect how your body will store fat and distribute fat. So I kind of mentioned this before. Estrogen is the hormone that helps you distribute fat more in your hips, your buttocks, and your thighs. But when you have a drop in estrogen, your testosterone will start to kind of have a proportional increase. And that proportional increase means that fat will distribute more to your belly area. And so how you store fat, and if you're storing more in your midsection, I know another gal came to me just recently, and we're going to chat, because she's like, she's just been lean her whole life, but she has fat depositing in her midsection. And a lot of that is because of hormone changes happening in her body. Right. So that is another thing of why, if your hormones is shifting, you're going to see more fat distribution towards your middle. And if you have fat up in your upper body, in the upper back and your arms, that is also a pretty big indicator of hormonal imbalance. So I'm actually curious, how many of you have a lot of fat in your belly or up in your upper body, back or arms? Put fat belly or fatty arms. I know some women who come to me are struggling with that, and that is typically a very big indication that your hormones are definitely off. Okay, so put fat belly or fatty arms if you feel like there's a lot of fat kind of accumulating in those areas, and that usually does mean that you have more imbalance of your hormones. Okay, now number 5 is, Wanda, you said fat belly. Yes. But you're doing the 21-day anti-inflammation. So I'm really excited for what you're going to learn there, because there's lots of things to correct in your nutrition, Wanda. So thank you for sharing. And then number 5 is cortisol and stress. I see it, Tracy, too. Tracy has fat belly. Yes. And we'll definitely reach out to you, Tracy. So number 5, hormones, is cortisol and stress. So I speak a lot about cortisol because that is that hormone that we sort of need in our life, because you need cortisol to wake up. right? You need cortisol to actually function a little bit in the gym. But it is the chronic cortisol, the continuous cortisol that's being pumped in your body. That stress hormone has a lot to do with your weight gain. So if you're a stressed out person, you have poor mindset, you have high anxiety all the time, all of that, or you just lead a very, very busy life, which most women do. This stress hormone will cause you to have a lot more rapid weight gain, and it will rapidly gain in your midsection. Okay. Fat belly, not so much fatty arms, Carolyn. Okay, good, Carolyn. That's good. And so that may mean certain things, sort of like when there's fat in the belly, but not the arms, there's certain things meaning in your hormones. But if it's like fat in your belly and fat in your arms, then there's even more predominance of estrogen. So where fat distributes is partially genetic, but then partially will tell you hormonally wise what's happening as well. So thank you for everyone for contributing. In terms of the cortisol and stress hormone, this is something that if it's not addressed and cortisol is high in your system, it is not only putting on belly fat faster on you, but it also actually deregulates your ability to build muscle. So this is actually really important because I'm going to speak soon about muscle building. If you don't have muscle in your body and you have low muscle mass, you have more and more slowdown of your metabolism. So now the cortisol is counteracting your muscle building ability. So if your cortisol is offshoot, we need to address this, which I'm going to talk about in the next point. Okay. So stress for sure, Cindy, you said yes. And I know we've worked a lot on mindset, Cindy, in the FFF program, and she did Muscle Accelerator for a few months as well. Mindset is really crucial. So I want to ask all of you that are listening now, I'm specifically talking about hormones here. And I said there's 5 impacts that hormone has on your body. I want you to put below which one you feel is potentially affecting you. Okay, so I said 5 things. Hormones will affect your metabolic change, slowing down your metabolism. Number 2, it will affect your insulin resistance. Number 3, it will affect your appetite and food cravings. Number 4, it will affect your fat distribution and your fat storage. And number 5, it will affect your cortisol and your stress levels. Which one do you believe you struggle with in this hormonal imbalance? Okay, which one? You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or each one again. So I'll just quickly say it. Metabolic change is number 1. Insulin resistance is number 2, appetite and food cravings, number 3, fat distribution and fat storage is number 4, and cortisol and stress is number 5. All right, comments are coming in. Jennifer said appetite and food cravings. Jennifer, yes, you tend to have a lot of those, although we have worked on quite a bit of them already. So, but also, Jennifer, I do know you're on medication for hypothyroidism. So that also affects, and I believe we have a few other people who have hypothyroidism on here. Debbie says 3, appetite, and 4, fat storage and distribution, Debbie. Appetite and food cravings, Wanda. Yeah, Sherry, cortisol and fat storage. Yeah, Sherry, I do believe you struggle with cortisol a bit, and that's something that we will hopefully work with you on in FFF program. And Asil says 1, 3, 4, and 5. So metabolic changes, Asil. So you feel like you have a slow metabolism, you have appetite and food cravings, fat storage and distribution, and cortisol and stress. So there's a lot that we need to work on, Asil, and we will definitely reach out to you. Hi, Lucy. You just popped on in. Good to see you. And I think Wanda Green also popped in. Awesome. So if you want more help with hormones, and you haven't indicated it, put hormones below, because I do believe hormones is one of the biggest factors of why people in menopause are struggling with weight gain, belly fat, as well as plateaus. So put hormones below if you feel like that's you, like you are struggling with hormones here. Okay. All right. I see number 5, cortisol, Cindy. Definitely. I agree with you. So one, you say you're not sure about metabolism. Yeah. If you feel like your body's not responding the same way anymore, so most likely your metabolism is changing. So, all right. So put hormones below if you believe you are impacted by hormones. Okay. Now, number 4. Okay. So this is connected to everything I said above, but of course, I'm giving it its own category. Okay. So it's the you think you eat healthy syndrome. I say this a lot. You think you eat healthy syndrome. Okay. So everybody almost feels like they eat healthy. I mean, I feel like about 80% of women that come to me tell me they eat healthy. Right. And I always counteract that with, okay, if you have no weight issues, your body's is functioning great, I believe you. But if you have excess fat and you have belly fat or you have trouble building muscle, I actually think there's something wrong with that. Now, the you think you eat healthy syndrome is likely related to inflammation markers, okay, is likely related to inflammation markers, okay? Now, why do I say that? Because the you think you eat healthy syndrome is because a lot of people may not understand where are all the hidden inflammation markers in their food. Now, for all the ones who just did my 21-day anti-inflammation system, can you guys just put a note down there? Were you guys astounded at some of the things that you learned in terms of what you realized? Like in the modules, you realize, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this. And it doesn't have to be specific. It's just like, what did you guys start to realize is that you didn't know that food was so important. I think, Sherry, you mentioned this to me on your call. You didn't realize that food was that important, right, to your weight loss or your bloating. So I want to talk a little bit about inflammation, okay? Jaw dropping open. Yeah, Sherry, I think Sherry, how much did you lose? You lost 9 pounds. Sherry lost 9 pounds and 10 inches, I think, off your body in 3 weeks, and by addressing inflammation markers, okay? So let's talk a little bit about inflammation. If you have inflammation system, inflammation is likely the cause of a lot of the symptoms you have, okay? And it is the root cause of a lot of diseases, okay? So diabetes or, type 2 diabetes, obesity, insulin resistance, these are called metabolic disorders. Metabolic disorders are connected to inflammation in your system because of a lot of sugar. Sugar is highly inflammatory, right? Hi, Marjorie and Kimberly and Sherry, you say you lost 9 pounds, exactly. Cardiovascular diseases is inflammation of your arteries and your heart. So a lot of people who, as they get older, have heart issues. This is inflammation of your arteries and your heart. Did you know Alzheimer's disease, lupus, a lot of these disorders are inflammatory, are neurodegenerative disorders. And these neurodegenerative disorders come from inflammation in the system. My dad went through a period where he almost died, and he had vasculitis, and that is a massive autoimmune disease where your body starts to attack yourself. Now, he didn't have the knowledge back then, and he ate a lot of things he shouldn't have eaten, but now he's very healthy because we're all on him for that. But a lot of the autoimmune diseases that you have, skin conditions you have, a lot of those things all come back down to inflammation in your body. And the unfortunate thing is that as you age, your body actually has a phenomenon called inflammaging. Let me say that again, inflammaging. Okay, did you guys hear that? Inflammaging is what's happening in your body. As you age, your body has less and less ability to regulate and resolve inflammation in your system. So this leads to persistent low-grade inflammation in your system piling up. So this is why, as you are aging, you actually cannot risk high levels of inflammation, and it must be addressed at a much more rapid and almost aggressive rate. Whereas when you're younger, your body can resolve inflammation really fast. You see a little kid eat a bunch of candy, what do? They run around like crazy mad people, and then the sugar is out of their system, right? And then for us, if we do that, we have too much sugar, we feel sick, we don't feel good, we feel sick the next day, because our body doesn't have an ability to resolve the inflammation in our system as we age. The inflammaging situation means that because by nature, as you age, your body cannot actually address inflammation. You have to be more stringent in the type of foods you eat and catching where inflammation markers are happening. I was just chatting with another gal. She just did the 21-day anti-inflammation system. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't have any more aches and pain in my body since doing your program. And we were talking about her weight loss and helping her lose more weight. And she was telling me some of the things she was still doing. And I right away pointed out, I said, hey, like that probably is going to inflame your body. And that's probably going to inflame your body. And so she realized like, wow, like she's decreased a lot of things through the course module, but there's still so many things that she's doing that is causing inflammation in her body. And so this is kind of one of the biggest things I always say to people is like, if you're stalled out and you're not addressing why you have a stall out, a lot of it is hormones. But when you have inflammation in your body, inflammation tips your hormonal balance, which means it affects your hormone balance because you're inflaming the body, right? So when you inflame the body, you are actually doing what to your hormones? So when you inflame your body, you are spiking your cortisol level, right? And what did I say on point number 5 above in hormones? When you spike your cortisol level, your cortisol affects all the different types of fat distribution in your body, and all the energy is diverted to now helping you survive because you have cortisol in your system. So it is diverted to helping you survive. So it's going to stall you because it doesn't put energy towards fat loss and it doesn't put energy towards muscle gain. So now you have stalled out both your fat loss and your muscle gain potential by having chronic cortisol and inflammation in your system. So I always say inflammation and addressing inflammation is the number one step you have to address first, especially if you're seeing that you're gaining weight fast, like Rosalinda. Rosalinda was a competitor and has shredded abs at 57. What happened? Why did she gain weight so fast and could not get a control of it? That's why she came to me, because she's like, I don't understand why I keep gaining weight, right? And to point out Rosalinda, her macros were really off, but her inflammation markers were also in a lot of the vegan products she was eating. I'm not against vegan. Eating plant-based is awesome. But let me tell you, just because you're vegan, it does not mean you're healthy. The things you are eating has inflammation markers in it. So don't let the title of being vegan make you think you're healthy. Okay. This is something that I've addressed with Rosalinda. She was vegan, but there were so many inflammation markers in her system that I was addressing that she thought she was being healthy by going vegan. Okay. So how many of you listening believe that you have inflammaging, right? Believe that you have lots of inflammation and aging. That's what inflammaging is. How many of you believe you have inflammaging? Put it below. Inflammaging is inflame and aging together. That's what that word is. So if you feel like you are struggling with inflammaging, I want you to put it below. And also I want you to, for those of you who are, just coming on and whatnot. So the 21-day anti-inflammation system that we are starting at the beginning of August, this is what that program addresses. It addresses in the modules specifically what you need to look at and understand what to take out of your food to bring down inflammation in your system and to reset your gut system. Okay. Because if your gut is off, this can lead to a lot of problems. Wanda, I see inflammaging. Yes, you're in the 21-day program already. So yes, I love that, Wanda. And Asil, you are also inflammaging, like you said. So another thing I want to address with the 21-day program and about inflammaging is your gut. okay? And if you have not been on my YouTube channel and you're not subscribed, I'm going to encourage you to subscribe, because right now a lot of my clips are being released on there specifically on gut health. And I think today, another one on digestion was just released. So if you want to have that YouTube channel, you want to subscribe, put YouTube below, because yes, I know sometimes people don't have time to watch my hour and a half long lives. So on YouTube, we are releasing these 5-minute clips that are on all types of different topics. And I believe right now we are releasing a lot of clips on digestion and on the digestive gut. So put YouTube below if you want to learn a little bit more about the gut system. So this is still on the topic of inflammation, okay? When you are inflamed and your gut is inflamed because you're eating inflammatory markers in your system, you are going to cause inflammation in the lining of your gut. If you don't know what that means, is that this can massively impact the villi, the little microscopic villi lining your digestive gut. If this is impacted, eventually over time, the villi will be flattened out, and they are like the barriers to your gut lining. If they get flattened out, you will actually start to potentially experience leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut syndrome means that things will start to pass through from your gut to your bloodstream through that barrier that is now gone. And this is where we see massive situations happening in your body, where these molecules pass through your gut lining, and now it's like in your bloodstream, and it's causing havoc because your body is going like, what's going on? Who's the invader? Send out the white blood cells, send out like the T cells. Let's defend our body, right? Now you're fatigued, you're tired, you have joint pain, you don't know why. Suddenly you're allergic to things you were never allergic to, or you're intolerant to things you were never intolerant to, because these molecules have now passed through your digestive tract. Leaky gut syndrome is actually very common, and a lot of people don't know this. And this is why learning how to restore your gut system is very important. Leaky gut syndrome also, Asil says, so much constant pain. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that was me. They were completely flat, but last check, I was good again. Good, Asil. Yeah, Asil, exactly, right? You did a checkup and realized that your gut villi were flattened, and then it causes a lot of digestive issues. And if these markers pass through your lining into your brain, it crosses a brain-blood barrier. And as you guys age, I know it's not a joking issue. I know that some of you experience brain fog. Some of your older parents experience dementia. And you guys, I know it's a sad thing. If you want to have a long life and you want to make sure that you do not go down a brain neurodegenerative disorder, you need to address inflammation in your system, because if those inflammation markers reach your brain over time, they destroy those neurons in your brain. They destroy the protective layers. And then now, as you age, you don't know why you're slowing down in your thinking, and the brain fog and why these things come. And that is very, very connected to inflammation in your system. So hi, Tracy. Hola. I like the hola. This reminds me of my Latin dancing roots. It's good to see you, Tracy. Good to see you, Terry. So again, if you know you are struggling with inflammation, I want you to put inflammation below, or inflammaging, or 21 if you want to learn more about the 21-day program. We're going to keep that registration open for a couple of weeks and then close off that registration. So put that below if you are wanting to learn more, because inflammation, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important things I hope to address with people and my own parents. It's why they talk to me a lot, and my sister, because this is the root of a lot of the things they are struggling with. And if you guys can address that first, I believe you will have a better quality of life. And that to me is like priceless, if I can help you have a better quality of life. So that is number 4, is the inflammation, or you think you eat healthy syndrome. This is why you're plateaued, and this is why you're stalled out. Okay. So number 5, okay, we're gonna talk about why are you stalled out. So this is still connected to all the points above, but you're potentially stalled out because of reduction of muscle mass. Okay. So as you age, your estrogen level drops. I said this above. And as estrogen level drops, you actually have a decline in muscle mass. And basically, you'll start to drop in muscle mass at the age of 30. And then it starts to accelerate after 50. And I know a lot of you here are close to 50 or you're way above 50. And the acceleration process of muscle decline is faster and faster. You lose about 3 to 5% of muscle mass per decade after 30. So if you are not regularly training or you don't have a good muscle building program, you are losing muscle mass very, very, very fast. If you're losing muscle very fast, it means that your metabolism slows down, right? So it goes back to what I said above, metabolism being affected. So if you have a much slower metabolism, okay, then you're just not going to burn as many calories and you're going to gain weight faster. And like I said, because of inflammation, your body cannot handle inflammation as much. So you're having a lot of things work against you, right? You have less muscle mass, lower metabolism, increasing inflammation in your system, fat being distributed more to your belly. And suddenly you feel like I'm in menopause, like what's going on? Or not perimenopause, but like after menopause, you're starting to be like, why is it that I have so much fat accumulating and nothing I do works anymore? Because of the slowdown in your body, this is what happens if you are not particularly cognizant of muscle building. So muscle building for a lot of people is because you guys are busy. And I understand as you guys are moms and grandmas and you have lots going on, maybe you're very busy and you have a more sedentary lifestyle. So a more sedentary lifestyle leads to a faster loss of muscle mass. Loss of estrogen also means that your body is not keeping the muscle longevity, right? Like I mentioned before, estrogen is what helps your muscle kind of have a little bit like better resistance, like almost like, so if you remember one of my lives, I talked about this, that when you have estrogen in your system, when you go work out, you actually have to, push it harder, have more reps, things like that, because estrogen is the hormone that actually helps your muscles stay intact more, but when you lose that, it means you lose that effect as well. And so again, you lose muscle much faster when you don't have estrogen, right? Estella says, I'm not sure if it's still an issue. I'm close to 50, I'm 47, but I am weight training. Awesome. That's really good that you're weight training. So I think this is the thing I want to always say though, is like, for muscle building, you just want to make sure that you are particularly exercising specific to like resistance training. And there's nothing wrong with obviously healthy walks and cardio, but you really need resistance training and strength training as you age, okay? Because your muscles decreasing so fast, just going for walks or just doing cardio is no longer good enough, okay? So who here watching feels like they need to have better muscle building programs? So put below if you feel like you need to have better muscle building programs, or you need better resistance training. Put that below, because that's another reason why often people are stalled out, because what you're eating is not matching your metabolic rate, right? So your slower metabolism, you're burning off muscle faster, and it's just not equaling out. Okay. So if you feel like you need better muscle building program, put that below. Okay. Okay, before I go on, everyone's listening very closely. Is this helping? If this is helping, put like this is helpful below. Is this actually helping you? Are you guys understanding better? Put helpful below if this is actually adding value to you. I see Tracy said better muscle building program. Awesome. Yeah, we will connect with you. Yeah, let me know if this is actually helping you. And also one more thing I want to say before I go to the next point is more is not always better. Okay, more is not always better. Now, this is something Clarice also tries to learn, because I'm a pretty big pusher. Like I like pain. I like things to hurt. but more is not always better. So what I mean is, like, as you get older, your body can't handle high amounts of cortisol. Oh, very helpful. Good. Oshone, Jennifer, Wanda, Tracy. Awesome. I'm glad this is really helpful. Debbie. Awesome. More is not always better. So don't think doing more is always better. So what I mean by this is, like, again, I just chatted with another gal yesterday. Yes, she's a group fitness instructor. She's teaching 6 days a week of group fitness, and she is struggling with 40 extra pounds on her body. And I said, I'm like, this is way too much. I'm like, you can't do this much. It's like, you're not at an age that you can just go crazy like this, but you need strength training, but you need the right amount in contrast to cardio. So if you're doing lots of Zumba, lots of these different things, just be a little bit careful. Again, this is not applying to everyone. I recognize there's some people who have great metabolism, some of you who are 50 who look phenomenal. I'm really speaking obviously to people who are struggling with a lot of weight. If you tell me you exercise every single day, but you struggle with an extra 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 pounds, something is wrong, right? Something is wrong. If someone is exercising 6 days a week and you're struggling with 40 pounds extra on your body, something is wrong. So I want you to remember, more is not always better. Okay? More is not always better. And I hope you guys know, sometimes I say this, not even just to you, but to myself. Like, I'm a really big pusher. I have to sometimes tell myself, don't always go too crazy, you know? I can go pretty crazy as well. So less cardio, Jennifer. Well, Jennifer, we've cut back your cardio a lot already, and almost to now not much anymore. So you still need some balance. I know she's joking around. Some balance of it. You need a little bit of cardio. You need some weight training. You need some HIIT training. You need a good balance in your program. Okay. Awesome, Cindy. I'm glad it's helpful. Awesome. So number 6. So the last point of why you might be at a plateau is mindset. Of course, Clarice would come back to this, because you know Clarice is a big mindset person. So why you are at a plateau potentially is because you're not really controlling your mindset. And a lot of people struggle with self-sabotaging thoughts. When people don't see results, it can be very demotivating. So this is when they start to spiral, they feel discouraged, they start to give up, they start to cheat a little bit here, they start to eat or emotionally eat, and they lack consistency. And this is what leads to a lot of plateau, because the person can't really keep themselves going, because they start to fall off. They don't stay on track with their training. They don't stay on track with their eating. They're 1 week on, 1 week off. They're weekend, or what do we call it? Week warriors, but then weekends they go off track. And this is very realistic for a lot of people. A lot of people are healthy sometimes, but they are not healthy most of the time. And this causes the challenge of this, like, up and down, and your mindset really can affect that, right? I know you're joking, Jennifer. You're so funny. I know. And mindset is also body dysmorphia. Okay. So you might struggle with body dysmorphia. I have a lot of clients who absolutely noticeably, and I even believe a couple of my FFF ladies I just spoke to, including, I think she'll be okay, Karen. I just spoke to her yesterday. She's like, I don't know if I really see the change. And I'm like, look at the numbers and look at your belly, you know? But this is most people are really hard on themselves. This will actually affect your weight loss journey, because you're not celebrating the wins. You're not celebrating what's actually happening. And so you derail when you're actually already on the right track, and you can keep going on that right track, right? How many of you struggle with mindset and self-sabotaging beliefs? How many of you struggle with mindset and self-sabotaging belief? I believe a lot of women do. I believe that most women are actually harder on themselves than they believe. Like, they're quite hard on themselves. Okay. And so why I bring this up is because, like, I believe that structure and accountability is the key to counteracting a poor mindset and self-sabotaging thoughts. Because when you have structure and accountability, you are putting your self-sabotaging thoughts up against something that's not movable, like a structure system or data, right? Hard data. So when I say, okay, so-and-so, you've lost 5 inches and 3 pounds. And then she comes in and says, I don't feel like I've changed. Well, we're putting your emotions up against hard data. So it's pretty hard to argue with that. Am I right? A lot of my clients, yeah, like Lisa says, self-sabotaging thoughts. Yeah, exactly. And Debbie, mindset and self-sabotage. I'm trying to be better. Yes. And even Debbie at this point, as you guys seen her pictures, she's come so far, but you know, we still work with her on mindset to try to keep her on track or get her back on track, because this is what derails a lot of people. And so structure accountability helps keep you on the road. Okay. And then as well, when you have structure and accountability, it helps you set realistic expectations and goals. Whereas when you don't have structure and accountability or an objective view, it's like, what are you aiming at? Because you don't know what you're aiming at. You know, you're kind of like just going off of your emotions. One day you feel good, next day you don't feel good. One day you feel motivated to go to the gym, next day you don't feel motivated to go to the gym. And so this often causes a lot of people to fall off and almost like you are on track, but you're derailing yourself because you didn't give yourself the chance to actually look at what are the wins you've had. So one of the things I wanted to mention is that a lot of people base their results on weight, like I'm not losing weight or, you know, certain things like that. But I believe that a lot of other things have to happen first before your weight or even sometimes metric wins will come into play. So your body has to receive the right signals, the right changes in hormones. It needs to drop inflammation in your body. A lot of times those other signals have to happen first before the metric wins will catch up to you, right? But sometimes people may not understand that and may not understand there's something here that has to happen first before that will happen. And that's why having a structured program and someone who has objective view can really help you, right? The scale used to tell me what I did. Yeah, exactly. No scale wins are so non-scale victories. Exactly. It's so important. And so I wanted to show, I actually forgot to show pictures of the there's 2 pictures I wanted to show. I want to show about muscle building actually, and then I'll show about the non-metric wins. So let me just pull up another picture here. So oh, and I forgot to show these things too. Haha. Grace forgot to show all these things. Okay. So let's just go here. So actually, when I was talking about inflammation, I actually wanted to show this. So when I was talking about inflammation, I wanted to show specifically this picture and a few other pictures of like, this was about addressing inflammation in her system. And you can see how much she dropped in her midsection when inflammation came down. And like, I addressed this particular picture because I know her and her macros were not quite on par, but this was only addressing inflammation, and so much of her belly dropped because that's how much inflammation can affect your system. And I wanted to show another one because these were all inflammation changes. It was like really powerful because I was like, it's crazy how much inflammation does to your system, you know? I forgot to show this when I was talking about it earlier. Here's another one. So here's another one that you can see is really addressing that inflammation in her system and being able to drop that belly down. Okay. So like I said earlier, the inflammation in your system is like so crucial to addressing this. Huge amount of drops in just 8 weeks because of targeting that. And this is kind of why I said like inflammation is something that has to be addressed. Now, the next thing I said after that was about muscle building. Okay. So muscle building is like, you could be going to the gym, but not getting quite the results you want. And so this is sort of like what I want to show is like, you have to know, sorry, pulling different pictures here. This is the one I want. So you have to know how to build those muscles if you want sculpted muscles. So here is a great picture. You guys might recognize her, Deb Briones. Obviously from a very, like she was never a big person. You can see she's actually quite lean, but she struggled with a big belly in the middle. And from decreasing her inflammation and then addressing her calories and her macros, how much we could sculpt her body out. Okay. So when I say building muscles and sculpting, this is what I mean is like, you have to know if you have the right muscle building program, because it's one thing to address inflammation, but it's another thing to address knowing how to properly build muscle. And that is through very specific programming that you're going to need to understand on how to build muscle. Okay. So if you are wanting to learn how to build muscle better, if you haven't yet, put muscle building, because to me, this is multiple phases, right? Because she went through transformation program and then another muscle accelerator program where she went from decreasing her belly to then learning how to build muscle, how to sculpt her muscle. So if you like that look, you like that sculpted, put sculpted below, because that's a great example. And then I have one more example here. She's on this live. She doesn't know I'm about to show it, but since I've used this photo before, she's going to be okay with it. She's probably like, oh no, I think I know this person is like, but she's okay. Like I've shared it before. So I know she's okay with this. So if you guys don't know, Miss Lisa Peltier is one of our angels. Now she like her back is something I've always said like, wow, look at the muscle in her back. And she's on daily chemo. She takes chemo. She has blood cancer. But look at the changes in her back from like not knowing how to build muscle. She lost weight because she went on a good healthy eating regime with another person, which is great, but she didn't know how to build muscle. So through working with her and building muscle on her back, the change in the structure of her back, this is what I mean is like, it's not just about decreasing inflammation or whatnot. It's also learning how to build muscle properly. That's very crucial because your muscle mass is declining as you age. So you need to address this, right? So yeah, sculpted, I see Sonia, Wanda. So this is part of that muscle sculpting, or sorry, when I said muscle building, because as you age, your muscle declines, so your metabolism declines. So we need to make sure that we're really on top of muscle building. Okay. Hi, Patrice. Hi, Melissa. Thanks for jumping in. So really addressing that muscle building. Now, with the last point I made about mindset, I want to share one more because hers was really interesting as well. Hold on here. Let's hopping around here. Sorry, many screens trying to navigate what's going on here. I think, oh, right here. Yes, you guys would have seen this picture as well. I'm gonna share this next one here. So you guys might have seen this picture because obviously she's such a great example. So Cindy Hutchinson, also she did the transformation program, muscle accelerator program, and the 21-day anti-inflammation program. Now, she went through originally the transformation program. And what's really interesting is that like she dropped so many inches, like it was absolutely incredible. So this relates to my point of mindset, because she actually dropped, I think it was 50 something inches off her body, or 50 or 60 inches off her body. You guys can see the difference. But she actually only dropped, I think it was like 14 pounds. And so her pounds never matched up her metrics. Her metrics was like far surpassed her pounds. And she used to only look at pounds, and she used to be very discouraged. She yo-yo dieted a lot. She did every diet under the sun. Cindy will say this herself. She's done every diet under the sun, but it would always like come back. Right. And she always said to like me that like she lost a lot when she did a lot of diets. She would lose like everything else, like her upper body, her lower body, but she couldn't lose in her belly. She would starve herself, do different things, do all sorts of like Atkins diet, everything, but she could never bring down the belly. But when we finally addressed the things in this order, inflammation, calories, macros, and obviously helping her with many different like wins, like helping her understand the wins are not just weight. She started dropping like crazy, like so many inches off her body. And one of the things she said to me was like, wow, like, I guess I didn't realize how important metrics were versus weight, because if it was just on weight, it wasn't dropping as much as her metrics. And that's why I say you have to celebrate a lot of other wins. And obviously all the other wins she had of like learning how to like, prepare macro-based meals and all of that, and learning how to like understand macros. So her example is really phenomenal. Give her lots of hearts if you loved that transformation, because that was her 60th birthday gift. She wanted herself to be her fittest self by 60. And she obviously accomplished that. And obviously no more yo-yo dieting for Cindy Hutchinson. And obviously she just has a hunger to keep learning. Like I think she got her own nutrition certification, and then she went and did a 21-day anti-inflammation with me. So she's just constantly wanting to learn more how to help herself. So yeah, I guess I brought that up because it's like she used to only focus on weight. And if she focused only on weight, she would be easily discouraged. There were weeks in her program where her weight would only shift 1 pound, but I kept saying to her, I said, things are happening. Your body is changing. Things are happening. And we kept moving and keep moving forward and like look at her body. Because by the time we got to 12 weeks, she's like, oh my gosh, things are happening. I'm like, I told you this in the 3rd week, but you didn't believe me yet. Right. So mindset is so crucial, and having a coach, having structure and accountability is so important to keep you on track. And so if you need structure and accountability, put structure and accountability below. And so those like that basically is kind of like the 6 points I wanted to make about, why you're plateaued. And this last point, mindset, don't kind of underestimate it. I think a lot of women's mindset gets in the way of your weight loss and your fat loss more than you think. I think mindset is huge. I think mindset is more important sometimes than your right calories and your macros. You still look at the scale, Cindy. Yeah, Cindy, like I told you, it's not just about the scale. Like we said, there's so many other factors, right? So just a quick note, okay? Because I know a lot of people asking me about different programs and all that. We have multiple programs. We are in the process of uptaking for a FFF group coaching program, Fierce Formula Factor program. We are going to begin at the end of the month. So we are only 2 more weeks uptake for it. This is different from the 21-day anti-inflammation system. FFF is a full-on coaching program, meaning there is a coach who is with you every step of the way for 8 weeks. And in the FFF program, you are being taught not only inflammation markers, but you have your customized calories that is then calculated for you, and customized macros that are going to be you are given specifically to you. And then you have specific weight training programs that we work with you on so that you can have the best possible way of addressing these things, because we want to address it from inflammation factor. We want to address it from proper calorie input. We want to address it from proper macro input. And we want to address it from proper structure and systems to put it together in a holistic program, which is called my Fierce Woman DNA methodology. So if you want to learn more about the FFF program, put FFF below. Or if you want to learn about the DNA methodology, there is a live I did a long time ago about the DNA methodology. We can send you that DNA live. This is my methodology of how I work with my clients. So you can put FFF below or DNA below if you want to watch that live specifically, okay? Now, I wanted to do one final win. I said I flipped it a little bit. At the beginning, I didn't spend as much time on wins. I did want to give a shout out to all of the 21-day anti-inflammation ladies. Obviously, you guys went through 3 weeks of modules and like they went through a 10-day gut reset challenge. And so yeah, I want to give a shout out to all these ladies. So help me give them lots of hearts. So congratulations to Elizabeth Chapman, Angela Thody, Lynn Howell, Robin Romano, Cindy Hutchinson, Sherry Shaw, Kathy Machalico, Lisa Bailey Wilson, Tracy Leong, Alicia Peters, and Liam Busse. I might say that wrong, sorry. Wanda Roy, Lisa White, Sandy Young, and Amber Tucker. All these ladies went through the 21-day anti-inflammation system. And like I said to you, shout out to Carolyn Bowden, who dropped 10.5 inches in her belly. Dropping a pant size down is Carolyn, Sherry Shaw, and Robin Romano. Wanda Roy, she says she has no more aches and pains in her body anymore, where she used to struggle with it every day. Amber Tucker sent me a message and says she has learned so much in the 21-day course and will continue to incorporate the knowledge because of how good she feels. So yeah, thank you for sending me those and all the ladies who did so well in the 21-day anti-inflammation system. If you want to learn more, like I said, about the 21-day anti-inflammation, put 21. If you are wondering what's the difference between 21 versus FFF, is 21 is specifically targeted to lowering inflammation in your system and has a 10-day gut reset part to it. FFF is a full-on coaching program that addresses all the factors together. So all of it together. So inflammation, calories, macros, muscle building, mindset, etc., etc. So FFF is a bigger program. 21-day is a smaller program. So if you want to learn more or you have questions for us, you can either put questions or you can put the programs 21 or FFF. Okay, so I hope that added value to all of you, and we kept it kind of concise, still about the same. Clarice just had lots to say. So thank you everyone for sticking with me, and I hope it added value. If you learned something that you really took value out of this, put it below at the bottom. Put what is one thing you learned from this live that you feel like is going to help you move forward. Okay, awesome. I will see you guys next week.